Hi everyone. So the other day on, I guess it was Thursday, I was on a Geek Speak Live and we were talking about content calendar planning. And some people were interested in my template. So I'm going to put the link to my template and this video as a comment under those posts on all my socials. And you'll be able to sort of figure out how to organize your content calendar. And if you hear my snoring dog, I have a little pug next to me, so that is my dog. If you hear the snores, hopefully you don't. Okay, so this is my content calendar. I work in a spreadsheet. I prefer to work this way. You're welcome to take a copy of it. In fact, you'll be prompted to take a copy of it based on the link that I'm going to share, and you'll copy that into your own drive. Or, of course, you can download it, I suppose, and if you use Excel or something on your desktop. So we have a few different, a few different aspects. We have the campaign and blogging plan 2025, topics and approved content sources, copy of, so this shouldn't be copy of. I don't know why I just copied it over now, so that's probably why. So we have 2025 Q1, 2025 Q2, and so on. So this is going to be the social posting in vertical. So I like to go from my sales goals, my events, and my what I already know about my business, and I start in campaign and blogging section. So let's go there. Oops, why won't it go there? There we go. Okay, and again, so in this particular campaign, we're fleshing things out in this direction. We're thinking about our overviews. So I like to work in weeks. You guys can work in whatever week you do. So, and this is not right. I don't know. Somebody's been in here fixing things for me. So I think Easter is in a week. I don't know when Easter is, so we'll delete that one for now. But you'll need to move this around at the beginning or when you're doing your planning. Mother's Day is in week 2. Father's Day is in week 1. So I like to have them in the weeks, not randomly up here. Back to school. Obviously week 1. Thanksgiving is week 3. Week 2. It's usually week 2. Winter holidays. So I usually go with Christmas as the main one. So I work with all of them, but you can actually put individual ones if that's beneficial to your business. Most of my businesses do a lump of, we start talking about that in week 2. Unless Hanukkah comes really early, then we'll start it earlier. And then if it comes really, really early, like I think it did this year, we might actually put it in a different space and separate it out from the winter holidays. So what I like you to think about in here, in this section, so this is goals and events in real time. So first we want to start with our events. That's the easiest one. So if we have certain buying cycles and certain times of the year when things are relevant to us. So for example, we do for our chiropractic businesses, we'll start talking about gardening and that type of thing in like March and April. Getting back in the garden, people usually experience injury during that time. If you are a gift store or any kind of store, Mother's Day is the biggest buying day of the year, other than Christmas. I think maybe it's the second biggest. So we definitely want to key into Mother's Day. If we do some kind of tool thing, then we're going to want Father's Day. Father's Day is usually for everyone, but maybe not as big a day. And then if we're in office, we might be closed on Canada Day or whatever your stat holidays are. So I would enter in stat holidays in this section. And then if you're doing any events yourself, so if you're having any conferences or trade shows that you're going to be at, then this is where we put that in. So I would put, everyone knows that Valentine's Day is February 14th, but let's say you had something that you didn't know. I would put that in here, and you can put multiple things in here. I often do. So I will just put a dash and then the next date. And I like to have it all in here so that I can see what's happening on the weeks. And it doesn't matter if you've got 5 things in one week. You can organize a number of social posts or and one blog post and spread it out. You can ignore one for this particular year and do it the following year. The next thing I like to add in, other than my events, so you might have like one of my stores used to have sell paintings, and it would have their artist featured in an evening of shopping with that artist. So we would plot those. Or you might have talks that you do at a networking group. So you might want to plot that in if you know what those are in advance. And then as you go through your year, the first thing you do when you figure out you've got a new event is you plot it in your content calendar here. Then I like to go through and look up the days of. So I actually have a Google Calendar organized for days of that I think are useful for businesses. So for example, in March we just had International Women's Day. That's always March 9th. It's always March 9th. And then you might have something else in April. I usually do Earth Day, which I think is the 22nd. So Earth Day would go here, and then I'd look it up. Okay, Earth Day. Yeah, 22nd. And then, I see. So you can put whatever kind of dash or whatever you want. So you can just fill this in and make sure that it's really great for you. You can look day ofs. I like to do the international one. So international days. So they're done by the UN and they're official days. And they often come with websites and hashtags and campaigns that are already organized for you. So you would go through here. Now, a lot of them are going to be more educational in nature from the UN. So they might not actually work for you, but you don't know until you try. So I think I mostly just do International Women's Day for most of my clients. And then I think there's one we did the International Day of Happiness also. This year is March 20th. We're planning for that. So March 20th would be in week 4. And then, so just as an example, you'd go to International Day and they list it here. And then they usually, here we go. So International Happy Day, Day of Happiness is about discrimination. Okay. Oh, this is Racism Day, so it's actually linked in the wrong place. That's interesting. Did I hit the wrong one? Oh no, I did hit the wrong one. Okay, so what it tells you what it's about, so you can key into the right topics. So a lot of people miss what International Women's Day is about, and they write sort of things that don't really work with my brand. I like to be accurate on what is happening. So universal goals and aspirations of the lives of human beings around the world. So okay, so that you might want to have that. So poverty eradication, happiness and well-being for all people. So the UN ones are usually are centered around social justice. So you can also find national days of. Now, the national days of are typically they're not the Canadian national days. Canada doesn't have any national days. So this is actually made up. It's American and it's made up, and people just call it the National Day, and they don't refer to which nation it refers to, so it doesn't really matter actually. Okay, so you can actually just see if you want to, if you can figure out any days that might work for you. So National Day, get over it. That's kind of funny. I actually think that would work for a lot of brands. But we can look in the months and just go through. Some of these are silly and are not really useful. So this, I don't like this. Oh, year at a glance. Here we go. This is what I'm looking for. So I would just go through the year at a glance and figure out, okay, so we're planning for April now, hopefully. So we might want to see what is here. Oh, and you can do other people's birthdays sometimes work. Uh, so we've got obviously April Fool's, National Sour Day, uh, National DIY Day would work for a lot of brands, all of this kind of stuff. So you just go through and you find what is relevant, and then you fill that in on your content calendar in this section here. And you want to do a really thorough job because you're going to just pick and choose from this column. You're not going to do everything. And then what you're going to do is you're going to start to plot things in the promotions area. So the promotions is, so if we want to do a Valentine's, say we're actually doing a Valentine's Day promotion for a restaurant or a gift store, well, we're going to want to start talking about that somewhere in week 3. So we're going to do, just block it in. We're going to block it in here. So maybe week 3 is the time that we want to start talking about it. If we're doing something really big and it's a really big part of our brand, so for like flowers, we might want to start doing it before 2 weeks to have people organize faster, easier, better. We might want to push it up, but it really depends on your business. So once we've got these worked in, so we're going to do International Women's Day, and we're going to put that out on International Women's Day. That's what we did. So we're going to put this here. And so then we're going to figure out what we're going to do in terms of blog. So we did a blog listicle. That's a type of a blog. You can just look that up if you don't know what that is. And then I like to organize my blog types just to make sure that we're not educating constantly. The working blog title was reading list for women CEOs. And then so you can work back if you need drafts. So we want to actually we want to figure out that this is going to be done February 20th is our due date for the draft. It got approved, and we're going to post it on March 9th. Well, we posted on March 8th because the 9th is a Saturday, and we needed the social post to be live. Sorry, we needed the social post to be scheduled, so we made sure that the blog was live the day before. So that's how we actually organize in this. So we want to, and we decide our cadence. So in our business, we want to do 2 blogs a month. So we're going to do another blog post, and I might not know what that is yet. And I might just plot it so sort of loosely week 2 and week 4 might work for me. So I'm just going to put in week 2 and week 4. Week 2 and week 4 works nicely. So I'm not doing so much in week 1. My business is very busy in week 1 of each month because I'm doing reports. So you want to schedule it as you like. And the cadence is whatever works for you, and it needs to be regular. Canadian anti-spam legislation just states that you need to send out emails regularly. So if you do it once a month, that's fine. If you do it once a quarter, that's fine. If you do it 4 times, once a quarter would be 4 times a year. I wouldn't do it less than 4 times a year because then people forget that they signed up, and they might mark you for spam. And then you can start like figuring out okay, so how do we work out what our titles and topics should be for our blogs? So this is where I go to, and if you're, especially if you're working with somebody else who's doing this for you, you want to go for topics and approved content sources. So I just randomly usually go, okay, so I like listicle blog posts. Those are a kind of blog. So that's like lists of things. So best books, which we just did for International Women's Day. I might want to do best for my business, best co-working spaces, because I'm trying to target solopreneurs and small business owners in Vancouver. And then you can do this. This is great strategy. So it's a great strategy. These are great strategies for SEO to make it location based, because my business actually has a hard time doing things location based, because we actually cater to so many of the we can do our clients are all over the world, is what I'm trying to say. So you might want to go educational, and you might want to break this down into bigger smaller chunks. So we might have educational social media, educational websites, things like that. And then I just start going like, what are the best premium templates. And then I might do something else on website, how to organize your blog categories. So these are things that I just brainstorm, and you'll have so many ideas. You're not gonna be trying to figure out ideas. There's gonna be so many, and then you might have events. So I might do my BNI talks, and then I might also invite people to or talk about Loco BC, which is the other. I might also do something about events at the University Women's Club. So those are these are the places that I network. I also might want to do Girl Gang, which is an online group, and they also host events sometimes. I also do Geek Speak, and I also do Happy Hour on the Business Marketing Mixer. So I might actually do some things about that around those things. And then I might also do, okay, so we've got educational listicles, events. I might want to do some interviews, and I might want to turn my videos into blog posts. So I could actually have my VA go and put all of the videos titles in here, so I can start moving them over and putting them onto my blogs, because I haven't done that yet. But we're waiting for our new website. So interviews, and I don't know why these aren't bolded. So interviews are really nice, because you get to include other people. You can do your interview video style, or you can do it written style, or you can do it audio style. It's totally up to you. But I might decide that I know I'm going to interview Leslie. I forgot her last name. Oh, bother. Anyways, I know I'm gonna. She's they're an expert in sales, so we're going to. I know I've got that planned in the near future. So then what I do is you just keep going, list down 20, 30, 40 things. It's totally up to you, because again, you're planning for the future, so you can actually, as you think of ideas, this is where they should go. So then once you've got enough ideas, you can go in here and I can start planning. So, okay, so I know I want to do a blog for Earth. I might want to do a blog for Earth Day because I like to sell my green hosting. So green hosting. So that might be this blog post. Then for the end of April, I don't really know what I want to do, so I could do my interview. And the other thing that you want to make sure with interviews is that you always have a backup blog post. In fact, I like to keep a backup blog post always, because if something doesn't work out timing wise, if somebody takes a long time to get back to you or they can't schedule when you plan it, you have a backup blog post to just drop in here, and you can move these around. Now, my blog posts also include emails. So every time I do a blog post, I put out an e-blast. So, and you might want to just move your columns over if you're like me. I like to be able to see everything. It drives me nuts if I don't. So this is how I work. Then once you get this all figured out, your campaign, your overall campaign, then you can go into, okay, so January, February, March. So we're still in Q1. So I work in a week system. So you have to, first of all, also, this is the other thing that I forgot to do. So we need to make sure that the weeks are, the 5-week ones are correct. So I'm just going to pause and figure that out. Okay, so figuring out your weeks of the month is step one. I completely forgot about that because I usually do that in December when we're getting all of our clients ready for January. So it's arbitrary, but it flows nicely with, you want to make sure it flows nicely with your calendar. So we've already established and we mark down which months we use. So January, April, July, October, and December. So January was week 5. So I would insert a row. January, week 5, week 5. Okay, January. So not March. Did I say March? No, April. So we're going to take this one out. We're going to add one in April. Not in May. Where did I say? April, July, and October. July. Not in August. And in October. Okay. So this is step number 1. So that means that you have to go through your Q1 and make sure that the right months also have the right number of. So we have January was week 5. Oh, this doesn't have January because we started our client in February and I borrowed this from the client. So I will add in January, but regardless, we don't need January right now. We're going straight to March. We're in March. So I think we're in March week 2 this week coming up. So we'll just kind of skip over. So March. April is in quarter 2. And it is a week 5. And we have a week 5, so that's great. I think Deanne's already done this for me. July. So July is in, oopsies. July is in quarter 3. Oopsies. Yeah, she's done this already. Okay, so let's just go back to quarter 1 and back to March. So then what we would do is we would write in what days we're doing. So we've decided that we're actually going to do, oops, I'm just going to move this over. So we're next to each other. So we're doing a blog post, a green hosting in April week 2. Okay. Okay. So I like to put my blog posts on Tuesday. You're free to do whatever you want. So we're going to go green hosting. This is just a working title. So when you get closer to the date and when you figure out do your SEO, you can figure out what your title should be. So we're doing a blog post, and that means that we're also going to do an Instagram story, social posts on all socials, and the Google ad campaign is probably what it always is. I don't really change my ad campaigns according to the posting, but sometimes I do. So you can see it's fairly consistent. The ads in the Google campaign, I usually just color code them for how long I'm running them. And then I change out the Facebook ad at this point. But I haven't gone through and sorted this out, so you can just color code it so that you know how long it's running. And then if you have other platforms, just add in whatever platforms you have. If you want to make a separation between a Facebook reel and a Facebook post, then go for it. You can, use as many cells as you need. And then you post this along here. And once you've got your blog posts in, you can decide, okay, I want to post 3 times a week on social posts, and then I'll do a bunch of other things, a bunch of stories. So you could do here, and I like Monday to Sunday, but you're free to change this to whatever you like. I just like to have this all organized in advance. So I might do, this might mess up, actually this might mess up my Tech Tip Tuesday, so maybe I'm going to put my blog post out on Monday, for example. So I might decide to do that, and then I'm going to do my Tech Tip post because I do that. So we're not going to do the bee blast for that. We're going to do not a blog. Sometimes I do a blog post, sometimes I don't. It depends on the tech tip if there's enough information. So tech tip as the Instagram story, tech tip as a post, that's for sure. And then on Thursday, I know I'm going to do, well, it depends. I usually do a Geek Speak live. So that one gets put into Instagram story. It's also going to be turned into a blog post. It's also going to be put into social posts. And then you can actually change this up. So if you want to do more than one story, you can create more cells, and then you can just change this up. But for now, this is how I like to organize it. And then you can just put NA because you know you're not going to do one here. And you know you're not going to do one here. Yeah. And I'm not going to do a blog post. Oh, but I might put out, it depends. If I'm putting out, actually, I might put NA here. And then I might decide to put out one here for this, and this is going to include Geek Speak Live, the green hosting blog post, and it could also have my tech tip. And that's a good e-blast to have. So now I've got my content here. And then you can decide that you're going to put out on like Saturday. You might want to put out curated content. So you might put that out, curated content. Or you might put out, it could be like something more fluffy. So you could put out a quote, inspirational quote, or you could put out something that's easy. So you could put out a writing tip, for example, or something like that. So you know that you got to find a filler post. Sometimes I just call this filler post. And I just put this in. And then we figure it out closer to the date. So that's how I organize myself. And then when you're going a month in advance, you can go and you can nail this down. You can find your code, you can put in the information, or you can just leave it as a cue to let you know what you're going to be scheduling that day. You don't have to fill everything in. All right. And that's how I work to make sure that when I sit down a week in advance to do all my content for this week. I just have to look at the week, figure out, create my content, figure out what I can schedule when, and then in my calendar, like in my regular calendar, I'll make a note. I need to make a live Instagram story on this day because I can't post that, and or I can't schedule that. And then I might also want to put it out on Google Business Listing, so I put that on my daily task list. All right, I hope that's helpful. If you have any questions, let me know. Yeah, let me know. I love to do content for people that's helpful. Thanks. Bye.